Start recording. That'll be a bit. I promise. My wedgies in my asshole. Let me change his shirt, dude. I'm not a whore, I swear. Okay, sure. The first 2 minutes aren't going great. That's fine. Worse things have happened. That's okay. What's today? 10/6/2024. There you go. I wish I had I could do something a little better, you know? I won't deny that. I have a living room. That would probably be nice, but then I need stuff in the living room, and I don't like that idea. So there is a plan to maybe run some cords, get a small little couch or something in the back here. Really flesh this out. But for now, this is what we get. Not a podcast. Not really gonna be the name of this. It'll probably just be the ramblings of some guy, you know? I mean, obviously this is getting uploaded to my channel, so there is no clear-cut purpose. I tried to record last night. I was trying to stay up all night because I didn't want to be late for work. Not today, but tomorrow. And I was damn, dude, I need to just stay up. So I was what's a good idea? So I started this, and I was recording. I wasn't really planning on getting that much. I don't think. There was no intent to have 15 hours of footage or do an hour-long podcast. That wasn't even in the scope or realm of what I was thinking about doing. And I don't know. I think I got 12 minutes in. And a little pepper, that chicken. Oh no! I got about 12 minutes in, and I accidentally hit the space bar. I was whatever, I know where I was at. So I start the recording again, and I just keep going on another 20 minutes. And I hadn't really decided to end it. I felt like I still had certain things to say, or that I wanted to say, or maybe talk about in some capacity. But I remember literally falling asleep, and I went back and listened to it today, and I was in the middle of a conversation. Sleep, Nick? That's too many sandwiches. 7 sandwiches. There's nothing about sandwiches in the 30-second to minute leading up to that moment in history. I don't know what took place, what my brain was you know what, dude? Sandwiches. I haven't talked about sandwiches enough in the last 20 minutes. So, I had about 30 minutes. I'm sure the rest of it was usable, but I went back and I listened to some of the audio, and I wasn't a fan. I was just very tired. I wasn't projecting. You can kind of hear a fan in the background because it was kind of hot. And I was just yeah, anyway, I was just overall very disappointed in the quality of that segment of time in my life. Those 20 minutes were not a great 20 minutes. So that is now, we're here now. That's how we got to this place in time in history. This really won't be a comedy podcast. This really won't be anything specific. I'm not it's kind of just gonna be ramblings, I guess. I feel like I needed a way to just talk and be social by myself, something that's a me thing. And in the future, if I do have a friend or something that wants to be in here, cool. Yeah, I love my homies. Definitely it helps to have other people to kind of talk to and stuff as well. So definitely not something I'm opposed to, or seeing this aspect of my channel grow. I don't post very often, it's very sporadic, but I just throwing things on here every now and again when I'm in the mood. And I'm hoping this one becomes a little more regular, just because it's so much easier just kind of sitting down and talking, which I'm very comfortable with. So I really want to encourage anybody to just, sit down, have a cup of tea, a DC, a coffee on the car ride, whatever, if you got 15, 20 minutes, happy to be there for those 15, 20 minutes, I say that like I have viewers. That's funny as fuck. God. Oh, that was it. That wasn't it. Didn't like that at all. So that's kind of today's goal. Get this worked out. Got Premiere Pro. Tried messing with the settings. Got it all set up. That tea went down the wrong hole. So, I'm not really positive about, I don't know, positive's the right word. I'm not necessarily looking for a concrete, detailed plan about the direction of this thing, which is fine. To an extent, I think if I was going for longevity and maybe something that might be more successful, it would just take too much time that I don't want to spend. And that's really what it boils down to, is I'm gonna be lazy. This isn't my main thing. This is something I do enjoy doing, so it'll be something that it's very, if I'm in the mood, maybe we record something. A lot of times I just pick a couple topics, I scour the internet, try to learn a little bit about something, or I don't even know, maybe just news headlines, things like that, and then I kind of just talk about it a little bit. So if that's something that happens more in the future, then I'm really happy with that, and I'm content with that. So I guess with that being said, we can just get right into it. The last couple nights have been kind of weird. Not in the real world, where everyone else is living, just kind of in my own personal life, It's been this weird, dichotomy of, I shouldn't have said that. I just wanted to be known. I don't know what that word means. I'll look it up at some point, but I don't know what it means right now, okay? I'm sure there was a point in my life where I did look it up, but currently, no. There's just been this weird, discontentment. I don't know, it's you go... you go get your job, you go to work, and you're just working every single day, and then it's not even I'm struggling in life. I worked really hard to get to the point where I was, I did all those years of being poor to get to where I am now. And now it's much more comfortable, but it's okay, I'm working, and then when I go home, I have all these other extra responsibilities and stuff that you have to take care of, just like every other human adult. And it's just been something I've been struggling with, which is, how do I prioritize me while also maintaining productivity and also, maintaining that excitement for the job or for work. Because I feel there's this weird thing where I can only be excited about one thing at a time. And I don't know if that's just a mentality thing and it's just something you just have to work on in time, It'll be I'll have 1 week where I'm just I love my job, and I'm oh, this is perfect, this is awesome, I'm happy to be here, I want to be on time, I want to be a servant to this community and just absolutely dive into it, right? And then there's other weeks where it's that's the bottom of the list of things I want to do. I do it because I have to, I do it because I need to. And then I get off work, and then the gym, I'm going to the gym, and that's my number one thing. I want to throw everything I have at the gym. And then the next week it's talking to my friends, and then the week after that it's, and then, but it, the priority level, sets the quality of that interaction in those places. So if it's the gym, great workouts, feel really good about myself, end of the day, but then I feel lonely kind of thing, right? And it's kind of the same thing for work. Like, yes, I love my job. Like, there's kind of like a sense of pride into it. And then there's still that kind of like loneliness of like, oh, well, you know, I'm not being social. Like, I don't have really anybody in my life. I'm really prioritizing other things outside of just like my mental health of like talking and human interaction, right? But then it's the opposite, where it's like, if I hang out with my friends, I really enjoy it and I love having a good time with them. And then it's like and then when we look back at those other two, it feels like I'm being irresponsible and I'm not picking the things that I should be. You know, I'm neglecting necessities. I'm neglecting maturity and responsibility, and that's been like a really strange like series of events in my life as of recent. And I've just been like over the last couple of days thinking about it, like, where is this coming from? Why am I doing this? And I'd been drinking a lot more recently, and so, you know, we slowed down, and I felt like maybe the quality of the time I was spending got better, but in a very general sense, like maybe I was drinking too much, and like I was just waking up and I was feeling like dehydrated and just feeling a little more shitty, even if I didn't get shit faced. Like, I just like, it wasn't like I was at top peak condition when I woke up in the mornings, or I was running late to work or something the next day, or like my social interactions were purely driven by like my desire for alcohol, and if I didn't have alcohol, I didn't want to talk. So like, you know, we cut out the alcohol, and then, you know, things started getting better, a little better, but then that feeling's still there, right? Like, okay, you know, I feel this certain way. I did this to cut it out, and then now what? Okay, so like we go a week, okay, week's over with. Now how are we feeling? Like, you did work, you did the gym. I felt like overall, the gym and work maintained consistency. Like, it was awesome. I loved it. Like, I had a really good time. It was just like a very overall fun experience to do both of those, you know? Like, I didn't hate a moment of it. Like, even if it was hard, or like it was difficult, or like I was trying to do like a PR or something, like it just stayed good. Like, I really enjoyed it through and through. And then I would come home and the social aspect was gone. So I still like, I'm still in the process of kind of like testing it. I'm supposed to be going to a friend's wedding for like a week. And so I think what I want to do is just like completely, I'm like running experiments, you know, on my friends. And I kind of want to just like take that week and like completely neglect like that aspect of my life, and just see like if the quality of my normal day gets better, or if I actually end up like missing those interactions more than not. Because then I think I can start creating like a balance in those areas and being like, okay, this is this, and then like these are the times and these are the boundaries and these are the things that I'm willing to offer to this, you know, section of my life, you know. And that might be a viable solution, you know? I'm not like a therapist. I'm not college educated, okay? I talk a lot, you know? I feel like I try to talk out my problems to myself when I'm at home. Like, I try not to like let them brew, in the sense that like I'm not thinking about them or I'm distracting myself. Like, I try to spend like a fair amount of time of just like sitting down and thinking, not like sitting down and thinking. Like, I like to, for me, it has to be talking. And I don't know how other people are, but like for me, it's talking. Like, I have to talk that problem out loud, in the car, to myself, just in some capacity, so that like I can kind of argue with myself and see where I was wrong or where I think I was right, or what are the adjustments I can make, and kind of like work through the flaws of those things. Because I do this a lot, and you know what, this kind of goes into like road rage, and we're just gonna do a complete like shift of topic right into road rage. Actually, I recently moved to the big old state of Pennsylvania. Massive state. It's completely different from where I grew up. It's windy, it's whirly, there's mountains, it's insane. The roads to me are just absolutely ridiculous. And then I kind of always thought that like, oh, you know, people from an area where vehicle navigation is harder, you would assume just have to drive better. in order to not die. No, they just get into car accidents here. They don't even try to be better, which is such an interesting, like, no. I'll just run through the stop sign, even though I can't see any direction. I can't see past the stop sign going in front of me. I can't see the left side or the right side. But if I run through it, there's no chance I'll make it. It's fine. Very strange. But the tie to the other conversation is, if I'm on the road and I'm getting frustrated, last night I'm on my way home from my friend's house. We played D&D, and there was a car driving, granted speed limit. He's driving speed limit, right? Like, I have no reason to be mad. So, and that's the conversation that I'm having with myself in the car at the time. It's like, dude, what is this guy fucking doing? I'm like, I'm just pissed, you know? White knuckle that grip, just like I want to hurt this man, right? And you know, that's going on for like 10, 15, 20 seconds, right? I'm just like upset, and you know, I keep following him, and then there's this point in my brain where it's like, okay, I'm clearly gonna be behind this guy for a minute. There's no escape at this point. Me and him, we're staying together. We're locked in. Like, there's no escape at this point. So that's where that conversation comes in, where I'm like, you know what? If I'm talking to myself out loud about it, like, I'm pissed off, I'm saying I'm angry. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Where are you going? And then, like, the other half of my brain is like, dude, he's just got his own life. He's following the speed limit. Like, you don't have a reason. There's no excuse for you to be angry. Like, it is completely unnecessary and unregulated emotion. Like, get it together. And then, like, I have that conversation with myself, and I kind of go back and forth with myself for a little bit. And I'll talk, like, out loud, just like this, and just back and forth. And then, you know, I start to come down, you know? I was up here, like, I went from here to here, or, like, even if it was, like, a slow, depending on, you know, how long I'm stuck behind this guy, you know? And it just immediately, like, the come down is so much faster than the way up to anger, which is so nice, because then it's like this moment of like recentering. Like, I lower my volume, I kind of like refocus on what I'm doing and driving, and it's just this really nice moment, I think, of just recognition. It's so redundant. There's something peaceful about peace, you know? I don't want to be angry. I just want to be relaxed. I want to feel calm. I don't want to feel like pressure, you know? And I think so many people could relate to that. And then I think there's so many people who want to relate to that. Like, they say they want that peace. They say they want that, like, comfort and just relaxation. But then they constantly bring in, like, those extra stresses and force their life to be, like, chaotic and stressful, right? And I think that's been probably one of the bigger things in my life these days. I feel like in the past, I was, like, looking for the next source of stress. It's like that, it's like the memes, like, time for another arc. Like, here's my villain arc, here's my lore. Like, we're just adding background to the character, and you know, and that was all funny, and like, actually it was really horrible, right? Like, it's never something that we like about ourselves. It's never something that we look back on and we're like, oh, that was cool. Like, it was always like, man, I wish I didn't do that. Man, I wish I didn't, like, date that girl. Like, I could see the signs. Like, it wasn't a smart move. Or I really shouldn't have made that decision. Like, it had such a negative impact on, like, my relationship with my friends, my family, right? And so we always look back at those and we're like, oh, that's my lore. But it's also like, why? You don't need lore. Just like, and that's the point I'm at in my life. I don't want lore. I'm done with lore. Last night I watched La La Land with two friends. I wanted to cry. I didn't want to cry. I cried. I was like, this is why I don't watch these movies anymore. I don't want to feel like I'm breaking apart. Like, I'm trying to bring in things into my life to bring me up. I don't want to have depressing conversations. I don't want to get serious. Like, I want to have something intimate, and I understand that takes, like, opening up in vulnerability, right? As at least when it comes to, like, dating and, like, especially, but, like, a lot of my friends, I've known them for years. Like, I don't need to be vulnerable with them for them to be my friend. Like, they're always going to be, like, I'm always going to be their friend. I'm always going to want them to be my friend. So, like, we don't need, if I have to open up to you and be vulnerable once a week with you or once a month, like, let's cut the bullshit. Like, we don't need to be doing that. Like, let's just hang out. Let's have a good time. Like, if something happens, it happens. Let's talk about it, move on. Like, it doesn't need to be an every time thing, you know? Let's not run this like, dude, we're hitting rewind on a fucking 5-second track, you know? Like, calm down. We don't need that. Like, so, that's been my big thing. Like, I don't want the chaos. I want the peace. I was dating, not even dating, I went on a couple dates with this girl. I was like, this girl's kind of crazy. Not that she was, like, she was very nice, but very hasty in her decision making. She was very cool. She was fun to hang out with, but she, like, reactive, I think is the word I'm looking for. She reacted to things. She wasn't taking it and then processing it and then trying to, like, figure out what the best course of action was, you know? Like, if she's in an argument, she just goes straight for the, like, fuck you, you're an idiot. Like, there's, like, no, now you're being reactive. Like, this wasn't an argument. We weren't name calling. This was, like, this was supposed to be, like, a formal discussion. And we only argued once, but, before that, it was because we had an argument about a thing that she did. And I was like, well, that's kind of, like, scary. Like, I wouldn't, that's, like, not a good thing to do. Like, and I had mentioned that because she had was telling me the story, told me how this guy was being an asshole, and I was like, that sounds terrible. Like, I'm really sorry that you had to deal with that, you know, going through the rigmarole of being like, people should be better, and I'm sorry that you had to deal with, you know, indecency, right? And then she tells me that she, like, did a little light vandalism, and I was like, okay, well, that's not appropriate. Like, what's going on there, right? So it was like, yo, calm down, man. And so I mentioned it to her. I was like, we're in the car, and I was like, can we at least admit in this situation that you did not react in a way that was very appropriate? And she went straight to anger, and I was like, there it is. Like, that's the reactive side. And I was like, for a while, I was like, oh, you know, I could try to be your friend. I definitely know I can't date her. And then anyway, that kind of just, like, steamed out. Now I just don't text her or answer her calls, for my own safety. And then that's, like, what I mean is, like, she is a source of chaos that I just don't want present in my life right now. Like, I'm looking for peace, I'm looking for comfort, and I'm looking for like a home, right? Like something I'm trying to build, like a thing here, and I don't want things getting thrown into that circle that are just designed to disrupt it. Like, I understand that sometimes you need that disruption in order to build, like, a stronger bond, but, like, of all the things in that circle, you know? But, dude, peace. I just need peace, man. Like, that's what I want. I think that's a great place to end it off. I think this channel is called Peckishpewbs. I had another one. I think that was called Cremation, but that one's dead and gone. I'm sure you can still find it, but this is the Peckishpewbs channel, and we'll see about maybe doing one of these again. You know, I can be a bit of a yapper, and I feel bad for my friends, you know, because they don't want to sit through this, because it's kind of a selfish thing to do, right? Like, that'll be my last point. Life isn't all about you. If you want to make something about you, make it be something that you create. You know, when you create things, it's about you. It's my essence coming into the world, and that's why I'm doing this. It's like, I want to have a piece of me somewhere
out there, and I need to get a little bit of that me out so that when I go to my friends, I can be a little bit about them, you know? I have a big problem with like ego and selfishness, and I thought this would be a really good way for me to just feel a little bit of that ego, and then come to them like a fresh slate, like, you know what? I got my fill. I'm good. Now I want to like talk about you guys. I want to be like your guys' wingman, your guys' friends, and like figure out what you guys got going on. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. And you know, don't be a selfish asshole. This is Peckishpewbs.